You know, it's a strange time to be alive. We have the most advanced science in human history, right? And yet, to solve our biggest health crises, we find ourselves looking to the distant past. So, let's dive into this. We're going to decode the original superfoods in a story where ancient wisdom is finally meeting modern science. And this, right here, this is the central question of our entire investigation. I mean, think about it. We've built this massive multi-billion-dollar wellness industry selling us chia seeds, fermented foods, special herbs. But here's the thing, none of this is new. So why are we paying top dollar for wisdom our ancestors cultivated for thousands of years, completely free? Okay, our investigation starts in Mesoamerica. For civilizations like the Aztec and Maya, food wasn't just about feeling full. It was basically a form of biotechnology. Seriously, they were engineering elite endurance athletes, and today our labs are just starting to figure out how they did it. And the cornerstone of their whole strategy? The humble chia seed. You had Aztec messengers. These guys were legendary for their long-distance runs, and they carried small pouches of it. The Tarahumara people in Mexico, famous for running 100-mile persistence hunts, still use it today. This wasn't just a snack, this was high-performance fuel. So let's look at the hard data, the nutritional blueprint for an endurance machine. In just one serving, you're getting this incredible dose of fiber for steady energy, omega-3s to fight inflammation, and crucial minerals like magnesium for muscle function. It's like a perfectly balanced performance supplement, but designed by nature. So how does this tiny seed actually work? Well, first, it's hydrophilic. It soaks up more than 12 times its own weight in water and forms this gel. This gel basically acts like a time-release hydration system inside your body, preserving electrolytes. But the real genius part? It slows down how fast carbs turn into sugar, so you don't get those energy spikes and crashes like you do with modern sports drinks. The Aztecs had mastered blood sugar management centuries ago. Just think about that. And chia wasn't a solo act, not at all. It was part of this whole sophisticated system. You had cacao, which was a sacred drink for warriors. It contains compounds that act as prebiotics, feeding the good bacteria in your gut. Then there was amaranth, a complete protein loaded with nitrates, which your body turns into nitric oxide. That opens up your blood vessels, boosting blood flow and power. This wasn't just food, it was a complete nutritional arsenal. Now, let's see how this pattern plays out across the globe, because it's not just in Mesoamerica. Our next case file takes us to two huge empires, Rome and ancient India, to see how they kept millions of people healthy. In Rome, one of their secret weapons was garum. Now, forget everything you've heard about rotten fish. That's not what this was. This was a masterpiece of food tech. The Romans would layer fish and salt and let the fish's own enzymes break down the proteins into free amino acids. It's a process we now call enzymatic hydrolysis. It basically pre-digested the food, making it shelf-stable, full of probiotics, and incredibly easy for the body to absorb. It was liquid nutrition that helped support an entire empire. Meanwhile, over in India, Ayurvedic medicine was perfecting personalized nutrition. And as you can see here, our science is only just now catching up. For instance, they used ashwagandha to manage stress. Well, we now know it helps modulate the HPA axis, which actually lowers the stress hormone cortisol. Their practice of Lankaran, or therapeutic fasting, we now know that induces autophagy, the body's cellular cleanup process. This isn't a coincidence, people. It's a map of our own biology, drawn thousands of years before we had the tools to read it. But this brings us to a darker part of our investigation. Because this ancient knowledge, it wasn't just forgotten or lost to time. In many cases, it was actively, systematically destroyed. We are now entering the crime scene. Just look at the Three Sisters, an indigenous American agricultural system. The maize grows tall, providing a trellis for the beans. The beans, in turn, fix nitrogen in the soil, feeding the other plants. And the squash spreads out on the ground, preventing weeds. It's an ecological marvel. Nutritionally, the corn and beans together form a complete protein. It's a perfect system, honed over generations. But this system, it was intentionally dismantled. This timeline shows a brutal, painful history. It started with land seizure, which cut people off from their traditional foods. Then came government rations, mostly flour, sugar, and lard. And it culminated in absolute horrors, like the state-sanctioned malnutrition experiments on Indigenous children in Canadian residential schools. This wasn't just losing tradition, it was the systematic erasure of a people's health, a nutritional disaster by design. And erasure can be subtle, too. It can happen through dilution. Take the ancient Mediterranean diet, famous for promoting long life. Well, the real one was based on heirloom grains, wild greens, and very, very little meat. The modern version we buy into today, it's mostly refined wheat, commercial produce that lacks nutrients, and way more animal protein. We're following the ghost of a diet, not the real thing. And that leads us to the final and maybe most shocking twist in our investigation. After centuries of destroying and watering down this ancient knowledge, we've now decided it's valuable. In fact, very valuable. This is the value of the global superfoods market in 2024, $188 billion. Let that sink in. That's more than the entire GDP of many countries. That is the price tag we've put on buying back the wisdom we threw away. And just look at this trend line. The market is set to almost double in less than a decade. The commodification of ancient wisdom isn't just happening, it's accelerating at an absolutely incredible pace. This statement right here just captures the profound irony of it all. We spent centuries systematically breaking what worked. And now, the solution being sold to us is to buy back the individual pieces, often from the very same industrial food system that helped create the problem in the first place. So, after looking at all the evidence, what's the verdict? What's the big takeaway from all of this? The verdict is clear. Our biggest nutritional breakthroughs are really just belated confirmations of ancient wisdom. All the science validating chia's hydration power, the gut healing benefits of fermented foods, the metabolic reset of fasting, it's all ancient intelligence finally being translated into the language of modern science. And that leaves us with one last critical question to think about. Is all this knowledge a shared human heritage that we should reclaim for everyone? Or is it just another product to be packaged and sold on a supermarket shelf? The choice we make here, well, it's really going to define the future of our health.